So the first tool I'm going to discuss on Bitrix 24 is the activity stream because I just really like this. I love the drive, I love the calendar, but I think that this has to actually be one of my favorite little tools because when I open up my Bitrix 24 account on a daily basis, it really quick, just in a screenshot, gives me some idea of what's been happening while I'm gone and gives me a nice little recap of where I'm at, what I did last. So you can see over here you got upcoming events. These are my tasks and I can click on these to take me there, or I can add tasks nice and easy right from the activity stream. Birthdays, just different extra information. If you want to download their mobile application, you can do it right from here, or download their computer app, you can do it here as well. So it's just really easy to work with. The activity stream itself, kind of this thing in the middle, works a lot like Facebook or Twitter for all those on social media. It really just gives you updates on things that have happened. So I've been planning a lot of events lately because I've been trying to fit our entire semester's worth of due dates on one calendar. So I've been entering everything in there. So you'll see a lot of that and assigning them to people. But there's a task reminding everybody to submit their first peer evaluation. I attached a file to it, which I'll go over, and it's part of Sprint 1. So even in this little box right here, I can see so much. This task is within this portion of the project, Sprint 1. Obviously, I know it's a task. It was assigned by me. I assigned it, this one particular is the one I assigned to Akshay. He finished it, so the task is closed. This is the file I added. And then even down here, I can hover over this and see how many people saw that task. So it was just Akshay and I assigned it to him, so that makes sense. I can follow it if I'd like, which means that anything that happens on that post, I'll get an update about. So just if something's really important to you, that's a good way to keep tabs on it. You can like it, so maybe for the more exciting posts in here, like maybe a happy birthday or a congrats, you could like it. And then, of course, you can comment as well. You can also star it, which helps you, like I said, it makes it your favorite. So that is a place, which I'll show you in a little bit, where you can go see all the things that you favorited. And so you can see the things that are most important and everything that's happened with them. So really, really good way to organize things and keep track of it. So first of all, I just want to go over the different messages you can send. So there's the basic message you can just type in here. And so you could then press send. It's going to go out to all employees and they'll all see it. And very simple. But they have some additional options. You can assign a task here, thing to do, maybe some additional details, responsible person. So I'd probably assign this to somebody on my team. And then there are additional details like if they're participants, but they're not actually responsible for it. So maybe if I'm assigning this to 3 people, but I want one person to really be the lead, the other 2 I could put as participants and observers. So if someone's creating a database and I want the programmer to keep an eye on it to understand how the database is happening, I could set them as an observer so they could also keep track of that. The deadline, and then there are lots of additional details, which project it's under. So like I told you, that other one I had put on Sprint 1, so that's recents. It can tell you my projects, which shows me all of them, and you can assign it that way. And you can assign it to particular groups, and these are the default groups that Bitrix 24 gives you. You can also create your own. I haven't found it necessary so much in small groups because we just all need to communicate with each other. There's not as much like 4-person groups. It's either a one-on-one chat that I'm doing or I'm talking to the whole team. You can plan out how much time it's going to take. You can set a reminder, which is really handy, especially with students because we have a lot of different, things coming up. People are juggling a lot of different tasks, and so this is a good way. I almost always do that when I assign a task. You can repeat it, day, week, month, year. You could decide every 2 weeks, or every 2 days in this case, and it could be on any day or a work day, so to exclude the weekends. Obviously, within the interval, make recurring after a certain date, and then when it's going to finish by either the end date or the iteration. So that's really nice. My only critique of this tool on Bittrex 24 is that you can only do it like at regular intervals. So for example, because my spring break falls kind of in the middle, actually next week of our project, I couldn't make something due in 2 weeks and then make it due every week after that. That wasn't an option. I had to create a different task and then make that start after we get back from break and make that recurring. So that's just a small tweak. It has great functionality, but it was just something additional that I would like to have. There are Gantt charts, which we'll go over later. So this is a way to say which task came before the one that I'm going through. Subtask of something, blah, blah, blah. You get the idea. Lots of different options. But a lot of the times you won't be going through all this. You'll just kind of do the basics and move on. Send, it goes out to whoever it needs to. They'll get notified. An event, so like meetings. You could either do it by all employees, certain members, or you could also do it by groups or by departments. And it will even tell you who's in each department. So you can choose people that way. Then we have polls, which is a functionality that I really liked. So if I wanted to say, when is the best meeting time? Then I could send it out to people. Or, hey, we did a great job this sprint. Let's go out and celebrate. Do you guys want to go to a movie or go bowling? Get a poll that way. You can also use a file and post that, which of course is handy. Appreciation, which is just kind of a shout out to someone like, hey, good job. And then it would have just a cute little kind of picture that goes with it. So it's something nice. And then lastly, an announcement, which then is just sort of prioritized to all of those who are tagged in it because announcements are important. Some options down at the bottom of the box here. You can attach a file. You could, which would be obviously from your own drive, your own computer, or your Bittrex 24 drive. You could hyperlink it. You could insert a video. So this would be a video already made on YouTube or Vimeo, so something already on the internet that you're adding a link to. Whereas record video down here lets you record yourself in your own video and make an announcement that way, which is pretty nifty. This is just if you wanted to highlight a quote, so it just stands out that way. And this is to tag people. You could do, once again, departments or by people, but that way it will tag them. I'd say, great job today. Something like that. And then lastly, you can add tags. Hashtag, just like social media. So for example, I'm going to go back here. I'm going to get rid of this. If you just delete all of your text and press delete one more time, that will get rid of the quotation box. And make sure to get rid of that tag if you don't mean to. But for example, I'd like to send a message, and I'd like to say, we had a meeting earlier today, my team did, so I'm going to say, great job at the meeting, everyone. Here are the notes. Then nice and easy, I can attach the file. So you can either select it from your Bittrex 24 drive or download it from external drive. I'm just going to get it from my computer because that is where I took them. So it's my meeting notes 226. Choose. It's attached. Nice and easy. And I'd like to make it so that everybody on my team could go on and edit, so that if they really took something away from the meeting that maybe I didn't get in the notes, they can add it there, especially for their individual jobs. It's going out to all employees. Send. Give it a second here. And there we go. File is attached to all employees. Simple as that. one person viewed it, well, that's me. So there you go. So Activity Stream, really, really nifty and handy just on its own. Then they do have, there's one additional function that I really want to show you because it's just a really neat way to capture how well your company has integrated Bittrex 24. So we just started using this recently. It's only been about 2 weeks, but if you click up on the company pulse, what it shows, these numbers are just the daily numbers of how much you're using Bittrex. So you can see today hasn't been as much. This was this morning. I uploaded a document, and then at 7 p.m. that was our meeting. So you could tell there were a lot more people who were active. So the numbers are low for today, mostly the drive, but then you could do it by the week. You can see it varies a lot more. Really using the drive, that's been one of my team's favorite features. Some of the chat, tasks for sure. People have downloaded the mobile app, so it tells you what you've been using the most. Tells you how many of the features you're using, so obviously we have a lot to go. Although for our project, some features we just don't use as much. This is, the activity rate is just how many times people have used Bittrex. All activity of all the users. You can either do it by company like I have here, or if you switch this over, it does it by person. So right now I'm on me, so you can see what my average is compared to the company average. My personal activity rate, the things that I like to use, the drive. But then I could choose somebody else too. So there are my recent searches. I can go to the company and go by department, look by groups. But I'm going to go ahead and say, all right, I'll go with my data manager. Let's see how much Brandon has been using it. So you can see I'm up there. Brandon has added a few things to the file. It must have been last week. So this week he hasn't used it very much, as you can tell. But nonetheless, that can give you a pretty good idea. You can switch right back to company and see, and you can see all the way for a year. Now we didn't download it and start using it until January, so it spikes up. But for companies that have been using this for a while, this is a great way to capture these numbers and even see if this tool is continuing to be useful. Now to get rid of this, you just swipe it right back up and you're back on the activity stream. And I promise you the very last thing I'm going to show you are the search and the settings. This is easy. Obviously, if you're searching for something, you can search by day, the type of post, author, who it was going to, so maybe everything sent to you. I told you earlier that you could favorite individual announcements or messages, posts. I haven't favorited any because there's nothing in particular that I've meant to keep an eye on. But that's a good way to keep track of important things to you. My activity tells you what I've done. Anyway, you get the idea. Search real quick, maybe search for a keyword. And these two settings, Smart Follow Mode and Hide Tasks. So hide tasks, real quick, is the easy one. It's just going to stop so that you don't see the tasks. You'll see all the other types of posts other than tasks. Because maybe you don't need to see what's being assigned to everybody. On the other hand, Smart Follow Mode is just a little bit more complicated. So the way Smart Follow Mode works, I had it on, so let me turn it off. Oh, sorry, I had it off. So only posts that actually have to deal with you are the ones that you'll see. And then if you follow something, it will automatically, if you comment on something, it will automatically follow it for you, so that you'll get constant updates anytime anything changes. So basically it's saying it's smart because this way you only get updates that actually pertain to you. So that's probably a really good opportunity for most people, especially if you're not the project manager, or if you are, maybe suggest this to your employees who get easily bogged down by having too much information, so that they still use Bittrex 24 and can make the best use of it without getting just frustrated with the overload of information. that's it for the activity stream. I hope you all find you love it just as much as I do.